Hi everyone, it's Fitz with your daily delivery. Hope you're doing well. I'm good. I'm really good. Why am I really good? Because it appears the SEC and Big Ten aren't getting along right now. Their plan to destroy college football has hit a road bump, a disagreement, a battle between the brothers that want to dominate all things college athletics. And is the Big Ten slowly breaking away from the SEC and deciding, I don't know if we want to be a part of all of your plans? And it's all over the expansion of the college football playoff. I'll explain in a minute. Right after you explain to me why you're not subscribing to this YouTube channel. I'll just wait. Okay, that's not good enough. Go ahead and subscribe. Oh, the Big Ten and SEC, those poor guys can't get along. They got all this money, and now they're bickering. They're bickering over how to set up the new college football playoff if they expand it. So let's just put that on the table. Everyone wants to go to 16 teams starting in 2026. How to do that is the question. And if they can't figure out how to do that, well, they're going to probably stay with what they got now is 12. I'm not that caught up on numbers really right now. Maybe next week I will be. I don't know. But if it's 8 to 16, I'm fine in anywhere in that range, and 12 is okay. I think 16 is better, but I don't think it's going to happen now because the three power conferences not named the Big Ten all want the plan that is 5 automatic bids, the 4 power conferences and the non-power champion all get 5 champions in, and then 11 at larges, which will rely on a selection committee and algorithms and honesty, and doing what's best for college football and just putting in the best teams, and not necessarily any kind of conference argument that this conference is superior. That's one plan. The other plan is to give automatic bids to all 4 of the power conference. Big Ten and SEC getting 4 each, ACC and Big 12 getting 2 each. Now, naturally, the Big 12 opposes that for the very reason that they don't want to put on paper that they have half the worth of those other 2 conferences. That's not true. That's not fair, and it's not right. But this is what the Big Ten wants. And they are insisting, at least their commissioner, Tony Pettiti, is that they're not going to change their mind. And we're now hearing that whatever the Big Ten and SEC want, they can get out of the playoff. But those 2 conferences don't agree. The SEC's dead set on the 5-11, and the Big Ten wants the 4-4-2-2. Now, why is the Big Ten pushing back? Well, Pettiti mentions the selection committee having too much power in the 5-11. Let me translate. He doesn't trust the committee to do the right thing and actually pick good teams. He thinks they'll just load up on SEC teams because that's what ABC, ESPN would want in televising these games. That's what no one wants outside of the SEC. I think the Big Ten might be right here. Basically, their stance is you cannot trust the SEC to do the right thing. Now, the issue here is the 2 other conferences, the ACC and Big 12, don't want to surrender spots from the very get-go. They can see a world in which maybe the SEC or certainly the Big Ten has a down year and doesn't really have 4 worthy teams. Now the Big Ten's trying to pose the argument that being 8-5 at the end of the season is a pretty good record and playoff worthy. I don't really buy that, but here's how you get to 8-5 in the Big Ten. You see, their grand plan is to go ahead and continue to play that championship game, but play 2 more postseason games, which I'm not against at all. I think it's kind of cool. It's good for revenue. It's fun for the fans. It does add another game. But they want to do it the 3 versus the 6 and the 4 versus the 5 in their conference standings to try to decide who those 4 teams are going into the locked-in spots. But you're going to hand teams more losses in the process. So they're trying to have it both ways to say if the 5th place team loses to the 4th place team, that doesn't mean they're bad. They're just 8-5. That's really good in the Big Ten. I don't buy that. I don't buy that at all. We know what the Big Ten is. It's very top heavy. Less so now with the addition of the Pac-12 teams that seem to have evened it out a little bit more, but still much of the Big Ten is utter garbage. And that pulls down a scheduling algorithm. You got it? In other words, advantage SEC that not only will play tougher teams according to algorithms and based on how they think, my God, Vanderbilt's going to be good. And we know it's not true, but that's what they're going to go with. Yeah, so the algorithm leans to the SEC that plays only 8 conference games. And the Big Ten is also saying this: we need to all be playing the same number of games in the conference play, period, end of story. And I agree totally. 8, I think you should play 9 with at least one non-conference power level opponent. I think maybe the rule is that you have to have 10 power conference opponents on your schedule. And if you have 11, you're rewarded. And if you have 9, you're punished. Maybe that's a better compromise than forcing the SEC to give up those great non-conference games in November, that it lets them heal up and get better and pad their record. Because the SEC is mostly about optics and stuffing the ballot box. And the Big Ten seems to know it.